Hi, everyone. Welcome to our One World Zohar session, where we connect to verses of the Zohar that pertain to this week's portion, this week's Torah reading. This week is the portion of Vayigash. And in our edition of the Zohar, we are in volume 6, Vayigash, and we're going to be reading from paragraph 53. So let's begin. This is very heady work, so we want as much assistance as possible. So let's begin by inviting in the Kabbalistic lineage to assist us in understanding, to help us. So inviting in the Rav and Karen and Michael, Rav Shlag, Rav Brandwein, the Ariya Kodesh, Ramchal, Rav Tarfon, Rav Zulai, Rav Menachem the Levitetz, Rav Kolonu, Shapir Piasetz, the Baal Shem Tov, Rav Shirim Bar Yochai and all the students, Rav Mordechai of Chernobyl, one soul with Yosef Tzaddik, Joseph the Righteous, and Shechem. Today is the sixth day of the month of Tevet, which is Capricorn. And it's also the anniversary of elevation of Rav Yechezkel Shraga of Shinva, who was the son of Rab Chaim of Tzanz. So we have his assistance today because his soul is closest to us on the day that it chose to elevate. So we have his assistance. Let's begin by acknowledging consciously, raising our consciousness to understand, to be open to this idea that as we connect to these verses, through these words, these holy letters, we are connecting to the upper realm, the realm of fulfillment. Whatever lack you've got in your life is available to us through these channels. So let's begin by connecting to the energy of healing and sending healing energy to everyone we know who needs healing. Mendel Bat Chaya, Moshe Ben Chana, Albert Ben Imelda, Melda Bat Carmen, Dana Bat Vicky, Yisrael Zeb Ben Meni Rachel, Ariel Ben Rivka Tova, Mir Tzvi Ben Gittel, Nachman Ben Chaya, Rachel Ben Chaya, Jeffrey Ben Fern, Shin Dvar Ben Chaya Chana, Levi Ben Bluma, Sur Perel Badita Reza, Sarba Malka, Yisba Rivka, Musbat Margie, Chana Bet Rivka, Karen Bet Sarah, Yudi Masanavon Bat Aviva, Ganesa Bet Rechodina, Sur Perel, Karen Bat Susan, Aviva Bat Niner, Jewel Bet Young. Let's also send out energy of assistance to those souls that we know are in the first 12 months of elevating, of leaving the physical world. We want to send them energy of assistance and comfort on that journey. Lisa Rivka Bat Rav Shnir Abraham Halevi, Gila Chana Bat Chaim Shlomo, and everyone else that we know. Let's also, as we connect to the upper realm energy, the realm of fulfillment, the flawless universe, let's also connect to the energy of Ahavat Chinam, unconditional love, treating everyone in the world with human decency, ending the wars and conflicts in our world, protection for all those innocents that are in harm's way, protection from evil eye and evil speech, and removal of chaos and negativity from our world. Okay. Verse 53. Alex, you ready? Okay, good.
Yeah, let's do it.
Petachahu Yudai Avadre. Ve'amar ve'achalta ve'sevata uve'erachta et Hashem lokecha. V'chila mevarchina le'lekuchabrichu. Adla nechol. V'ha'it lan la'ak dume b'tzafra. U'lesidure shivcha dilei kitcha yaot. Ulevarcha bishmei. Adla yevarech la'achara be'alma. U'chativ lo tochal al hadam. Asur le'lemecha. Adla yevarech l'marei. V'hashta kativ elchalta v'savata uve'rachta. Okay, so this portion is the portion of Yigash. And it's the portion in which we're in the middle of this drama. As a matter of fact, last week's portion was a cliffhanger. We're in the middle of this drama where Jacob, there's no food back in Canaan, so Jacob sends his sons down to Egypt where he understands that there's food, corn specifically, but we understand there's food. And so the boys rustle up their whatever transportation they were using then. I don't think it was horses. It was probably camels. And they head down, they buy food, they come back, but they're told by the governor, the second most powerful person in the world, because Egypt was the dominant power. They're told by this governor, look, you guys, I think you're spies. But they tell them their whole story. And the story is, hey, there's a bunch of brothers. One is no longer with us. Everyone else is here except for one other brother who we left home with our dad. And he says, look, you can come back for food, but I want to see that other brother because I want to check out make sure your story checks out. So they do come back because they need more food and they bring Benjamin, but Jacob didn't want to let Benjamin go because he knew what the brothers did with, he was suspicious of what the brothers did with Joseph. Who knows why? But he didn't want him. And Yehuda says, on my life, I'll bring him back. They go down, they meet this governor again, who turns out is Joseph, but they don't know. And they buy food and they're leaving. And the governor's people catch up to them and they find that Benjamin stole something of value from the house of Joseph, from the governor's house. And they bring them all back. And the governor says, look, you all can go back, but Benjamin, he's a thief and he stays here. And with that, Judah is freaked because he told his father he would bring Benjamin back on his life. And so that's how the story ends last week. So this week, Vayigash basically means that Jacob got into Joseph's face. He confronted him. Now, keep in mind, he's confronting the second most powerful person in the world. But again, his life was he put his life on the lines, with his dad. So like he's going to do everything. That's the context. There's a lot of deep secrets. There's a lot of significance. But that's where we are this week. That's the energy of this week. One could argue is about finding your voice. Joseph found his voice, but more than that, he corrected for the sin that all the brothers committed when they sold Joseph into slavery by standing up for Benjamin. And Joseph sets this whole thing up to give them the opportunity to do a tikkun. So there's a huge opportunity for us to do soul corrections also because of the significance of what happened this week. And with that, Alex, can you read the relevance of this passage? Again, we're at verse 53, and Alex is reading the relevance right before that.
You want the relevant? Okay, got it. The Hebrew word Mazal is usually translated.
Wait, what's the word?
Mazal.
Mazal. What context does that come up? And can you think of where that word Mazal comes up? Yeah, we say Mazel Tov. Someone's like a good thing happens, we say Mazel Tov. And what does that mean when we say that? What are we saying? Is it just a throwaway line? What does it mean? It means we translate it as congratulations. Mazal Tov. Congratulations. Oh, you're getting married. Mazal Tov. Oh, you had a baby. Mazal Tov. Oh, you got a new job. Mazal Tov. What are we saying? I mean, to stop and think, what are we saying? Do we believe in random luck? No, we don't. We don't. But that's the way it's used. So let's dive a little deeper into this. Yes, good fortune, coming closer. Let's continue.
The Hebrew word Mazal is usually translated as luck, but it really means sign, as in the signs of the constellation.
Oh, that's quite different, isn't it? Go ahead.
We are born into this world under a specific celestial influence as determined by deeds in past lives.
Meaning, we come here to correct for mistakes, for errors that we have committed in prior lives, or even in this life, we have the opportunity to clean that up too. But remember, it's like the whole idea is that we come here with a specific series of soul corrections. And the stars that we're born under are chosen to give us the challenge that we asked to have in this life so we could make those soul corrections. There's no other reason. There's no random stuff that goes on. The stars, that's why the moment of your birth is so important to know because we want to know where the stars are, where they were, because that is insight into your soul's purpose in this lifetime. So let's continue.
We were born into this world under a specific celestial influence as determined by deeds and past lives. We can rise above any negative influences of these signs by evoking the light through prayer, blessing, and meditation upon the mystical passages of the Zohar.
Okay, so the first opportunity we have as we connect to the Zohar today is to rise above any negative influences of those signs. Those signs are positive influences and negative influences. They impel us in certain directions that are not necessarily the way we want to go. When we overcome that, we are correct, we are doing a soul correction. So whatever sign you're born under, whatever the stars were at the moment of birth, were uniquely chosen. That moment was picked so that we would get pushed in directions that we needed to correct. And as we read this particular Zohar, we are getting the ability to overcome those influences.
You
It's not
go.
only through reading the Zohar, it's also through prayer and meditation. But like, these particular Zohar portions are going to assist us with that. Anyone have any questions?
Yes, it's Andrea. I have a question. It's Naomi. Um, so was those conditions chosen for us, or did we choose those conditions to be under the
Those
specific stars and
Not sure
degrees
it
and all
really
that?
matters.
Why? Why doesn't it
Why is
matter?
this happening to me? I don't think it really matters, but let's assume that you sat down with the creator and you decided
Hmm.
together.
That makes more sense because
Yeah, that's
if it's chosen for us, like we're always things are chosen for you, then it doesn't really give you a chance to empower yourself
no,
to do.
you knew your soul knows exactly what it came here to do. Your soul
Okay.
knows exactly why it was born under those particular astral influences. Your soul knows
Yes.
that. You don't. I've thought about this one a little bit more than I have lately. Like when someone says, like if you only knew how significant your soul was. If Andrew, if you only knew how significant your soul was, we each one of us, we wouldn't be actually, we'd be trying to have a conversation with our soul. When you get an intuitive hit, it's coming from your soul.
Right.
That's your soul trying to send you a message. So
Right.
imagine if you could have an ongoing dialogue with that aspect of with your soul
Mhm.
24/7,
Well, that would be absolutely incredibly amazing.
right?
What I'm saying is we want to know. Our soul knows, but consciously that's why we're studying, so we can wake up and be in the know, so we can make better choices and we can listen, answer to, like make choices based on our soul, not
Right.
on
Well,
our.
my dumb example about this is like imagine that you're locked in a trunk of a car
Mhm.
and it's driving around like you're not really your soul is like in the trunk to you your soul's in the trunk of the car. You can't have a
Mhm.
conversation with you. Your soul is too far away. The whole point is we
Okay.
were trying to align ourselves
Yeah.
with our souls so that we can do the work that our soul came here to do. But it's like we're wrapped up in this body with all this stimulation around us. And it's like it's tough to really make that connection. But this section is helping us with that.
Okay, cool.
Okay. But so then getting back to the original point I'm making, so what does Mazel Tov mean then? If it doesn't mean good luck,
Mhm.
what does it
Well,
mean?
it's a sign, right? So it sounds like it's a sign pointing you to the right direction. So your life has mazel. I don't know.
Right. So like it's kind of like we're saying, I hope it's a good sign.
Mhm.
It should be a Mazal Tov. It should be the good half of the sign. It should be your ability to overcome the astral influences.
See, I kind of took that as a little bit of a different story. I take that as wishing somebody alignment with their sign, so all the best should come. I mean, that's because first
Okay,
is consciousness, second is understanding the alignment that you step into these given circumstances or
but this
situations.
but the sign is not you want to be aligned with your soul. the sign is pushing you in a certain direction. So, okay, so I'll use myself
But that
as
would be alignment of the soul. I mean, if the soul came here and
alignment with
chose,
the soul, but not
Not
the sign.
not
Yes. Like
necessarily.
using myself as an example, like Cancerians, of which I am, fear comes up a lot for them. So every time I've had a, conversation with a Kabbalistic astrologer, they're like, get rid of the fear. Okay.
Easier
As
said
if it's
than
that
done.
simple.
Wait,
As if
David,
it's that simple. But like
let's
I
qual
obviously came here to overcome fear, just like Peter did. Yes, Peter.
no, I was saying let's qualify what Alex said. The whole point is we're born into a specific sign because that's what we need for our cocoon ultimately to make the
Yes.
change. So we're not necessarily want to be in total alignment with our sign. That there may be partial alignment with our sign, but what we're really looking for is the alignment with where we're trying to get to.
So the Mazal Tov is like I want it to be like a good aspect of listen, I want it to be the good aspect of the stars in which the star under which I was born, the sign under which I was born.
Mhm.
That's really what we're saying. It should be a good Mazal, a Mazal Tov, literally. So I think that that's when I hit this idea years ago on this path before I read the section. I think I was like, what are we saying? Because we don't mean luck unless we're understanding luck in a very limited way, which is also very, very possibly the truth. Like we look at luck, we see luck and we think it's random. Maybe it's not random at all.
So is it okay if I share a secret that I learned?
Yeah, but it won't be a
This-
secret anymore. But go ahead, yes.
Well, okay. I'll share something. So the sign, what do you call it? It's your north node
Yes.
that's where you want to go towards in order for the Mazal. So you want to correct to the north, so that's your correction. So you
So
want to
okay,
come.
all right. No question.
Mhm.
Wherever your north node is, that is where your correction lies. That is true.
Mhm.
Within the context of this conversation, since people may not know what the North Node is, it's a little difficult. But yes, 100%. Yes, it's an important thing to know.
It's just where your correction is.
Yes,
Anyway.
absolutely. And the book and Rob Berg wrote a book about that.
Yes, he did. And he also wrote in that book that the way that the energy comes down to us, from the upper world, comes down through the planets, through the stars.
Well,
And then it filters.
they are channels, no question.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let's continue. Alex, can you read the English?
Yep. The Jew then continued with the verse, and
What
you
does that
shall
mean, the Jew? Isn't it? I mean, all my anti-Semitic triggers are getting pulled. What does that mean? I mean, it says Patachahu Yudai. What are we talking about here? Let's just understand that that's the tribe of Judah. So that's really what it's a reference to. Let's continue.
usually eat and be satisfied with bless Hashem your Elohim. He asks, do not we bless the Holy One, blessed be he, before eating?
Okay, so here's the question. The verse, V'achalta v'savata u'beirachta et Hashem Elokecha, literally means we eat, we're satisfied, and then we bless the Creator. So that is what the scripture, the Torah, in the portion of Devarim says. Now, keep in mind, Vayigash, this week's portion, is in the book of Breshit, the first book, the book of creation. And the Zohar is bringing down a verse from Devarim, which is the fifth book. So that's okay. It relates to the energy of this week. The question is, which the Zohar is eating, wait a second, don't we typically make blessings before? What's the idea? Why make a blessing at all? Let's just start with that. What is the blessing? Why make a blessing at all? Anybody?
Well, I think it's to draw down light of consciousness into the food that we are about to consume to give us energy for our soul's purpose.
Yeah, well, it's appreciation. It's like it's a pause. So consciously, I can appreciate the fact that this apple or orange or sushi is coming from the creator. It's all coming from the creator.
I've also heard it's a form of restriction
Mm,
because
How
you don't just stick it in your mouth
right.
or take that sip of water. You have to do it. You do a prayer, and that's restriction.
it is. It's a pause. Like it is a restriction. It's like because your nature is just to, dive in, just to gobble it up. But by pausing and restricting, we're giving ourselves the opportunity also consciously of appreciating what it is we're about to internalize physically. And we want to do it with consciousness. And we because that appreciation helps us maintain that energy flow.
And I want to just add a layer of depth to it because it's so obviously with my hobby of cooking. The point
Yeah.
is beyond everything that you guys said is great. And it goes deeper, right? Because again, Alex, you started with alignment. The point is we're feeding our body to serve our soul. So what you're doing when you do any action, right, is you're doing it in the physical so that you can get to the higher level. And the same is true with everything as it relates to food. And the consciousness you start with has to lead you to serve your body so that you can serve your soul and the creator.
Right. I mean, I need to keep my body healthy and energized in order that I can do my spiritual work. I mean, Maslow, one of Maslow's basic things, food and shelter, right? That whole hierarchy. Like I need to take care of myself physically, otherwise I can't do my spiritual work. So yeah, great point. Um, but that's not what the Torah says. The line in Devarim is, and you should eat and be satisfied and bless your Elohim. It's saying that we bless afterwards. So we get the reason why we would bless in advance, is all these reasons: restriction, acknowledgement, consciousness, alignment. Also great, but that's not what the verse is about, though. This particular verse is about blessing afterwards. Let's
But
continue.
is it truly about blessing afterwards, or is it holding consciousness afterwards? Because it's one thing to have the pause and then, use that as a restriction, bless your meal, then have your meal. But so many of the things that I've learned along the path is that that's just the seed of thought. What you do after and where you point the intention and the energy afterwards is what really kind of brings things to fruition.
Well, we also want to be conscious at the seed level, and yes. But the thing is that the Zohar is asking the question. We're saying blessings beforehand, and this verse has us saying blessings afterwards.
But we do, David, right? Based on what we
Do
ate, based
we?
on,
We do.
yes. Yeah,
Well,
you explain
we
it.
we do. We do. So like, but the Zohar is getting at something here. And by the way, what's this have to do with my Mazal? What's this have to do with my what I'm here to spiritually correct for? Let's continue.
Indeed, we should rise early in the morning to recite his praises in the proper order before we greet any other in the world.
Okay, so the Zohar is saying specifically, yeah, of course we want to start our day with Moda Ani. Thank you, Creator, for returning my soul so I can continue to do my work here. I see I've got another lease on life for at least a day, right? So like but the point is it's having consciousness at the seed level. Of course we're going to do that. Let's continue.
It is also written, you shall not eat anything with the blood, which has already been explained, as it is forbidden to eat before blessing one's master.
Okay, so there is another verse, which is not anything with blood. And what does that have to do with anything we're talking about? So there is this idea that when it comes to meat, one of the things that's done in the processing, Kabbalistically, before something is kasher, is like the blood is removed. The meat is salted to remove the blood. part of why that's so important is because we believe that there's a huge soul connection to blood, which is why in Israel there were terrorist attacks this morning. Like there are people specifically who work on recovering body and blood for burial because we believe that that needs to be intact, and if it's not, that we believe all parts of that physical being need to be buried. So, like, it's not just a blood in and of itself is a special category of physicality. Let's continue.
Yet now it is written, and you shall eat and be satisfied and bless, which means it behooves one to bless only after the meal.
The truth is this: the Torah doesn't say anything about blessing before eating. And there's this idea that there are different guidelines that we have to stay on the path. And what do we mean by staying on the path? Staying on the path, it means aligning ourselves with our soul's purpose. All the rules and the tools that we have are there to assist us in aligning ourselves with our soul purpose and staying away from negativity and staying away from our desire to receive for the self and creating a focus on desire to receive for the sake of sharing. That's generally where we want to be. And that's generally, if we're there, we're aligning ourselves with our soul and we're aligning ourselves with our opportunity to do the soul corrections we're here for. And so one of the things that one of the rules is say the blessing after you're eaten, you're satisfied. Yet we're more focused on the blessing before, and that's not to diminish it. But the blessing afterwards is what's known as midoraita. It's from the written Torah. And the blessings before are not. They're midorabanan. They're what we're taught by the Kabbalists and other sages. That's what the source of that is from. So there's a huge distinction there. Some things are actually written and some things are taught. Usually that teaching is based on what's written. And so like even right here, we're unpacking all this. And we're not always given the information up front. A lot of what we do is not literally written in the Torah. So we need the sages and the Kabbalists to unpack these teachings in order for us to be aligned with the rules and tools that are really available for us. And this is another example. And we come across a lot of things. It's like people say, do you have a written source for this? And like sometimes the written source is the teachings that come afterwards. So for us, a major takeaway is just understanding that all the rules and tools that we have are there for one purpose, not just to be followed blindly. They're there to assist us in our soul's journey, in revealing light, in gaining insight, in seeing what our soul's purpose is, in what soul corrections we came here to be working on. And in that sense, it ties right back to this whole idea of the stars and the signs under which we've been born. It all relates. Let's continue with verse 54. Ela da birchata ditzlota diyechuda v'da birchata dimizona lachza'a lagabi darga dehemunuta sava kitka yaot uchudein bai levarcha le kitka yaot dahu darga dehemunuta yit rave v'yavarech v'yit male chedu minchayen dilaela kama ditzrich begin lemehav lan mizone.
He answers, the blessings we recite before eating are prayers for unity between male and female, while those we recite after eating have two purposes.
Okay, hold up. Before we get to those two purposes. So we've talked a lot about male energy and female energy. How does that relate to the blessings that we say before we eat something?
I mean, it's got to be the giving and receiving.
It is giving, receiving. It's like potential manifestation. The food that I have has the potential to nourish me. So again, it's like if I don't recognize that it's coming from the Creator, when I realize it's coming from the Creator, I'm creating unity between upper world and lower world consciously. And those recite after have two purposes. Go ahead.
To show proper satiation before the grade of the faith, the nukva, and two, to bless it properly so that the grade of faith shall be well watered, blessed, and filled with joy from the supernal life as much as needed, and thus will confer sustenance upon us.
Okay, well, that's a lot. So the blessing afterwards is more about, again, it's appreciation of the Creator satisfying me. So on the one hand, I say the blessing beforehand, so I create this connection between upper realm and lower realm and acknowledge where it's coming from. And then afterwards, I'm like, I'm acknowledging and appreciating that I was satiated. Hence, in the verse, you shall eat, be satiated, and bless. That's why can't I just say I'll eat and I'll bless? Because the key is I'm recognizing the benefits of what I've just received. And acknowledging that benefit is coming from the upper realm. It's not from me. It's not from Chef. Chef is just, the channel.
David, the second part of two, so the first one is, as you say, appreciation, gratefulness. And then the second one, it's really talking about if you will, the continuity of the light, right? So we couldn't do that when we started, when we said the prayer beforehand, because as you said, it had manifested. And now you're actually, so it's really interesting, right? So the consciousness has to be, right, that now that I've eaten, I am now, and again, I don't know how long, great question for your teacher. How long am I really channeling that, right? Meaning, because if I get hungry again, have I now lost, right? Is that, what I'm saying, is it over, right?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could say I am hungry again, but that slice of pizza was amazing. So I'm not sure. But I think it's interesting how the actual eating is sandwiched between things before and after. Sandwich.
Nice metaphor.
Again, it's a metaphor. Again, it's like, but it is ultimately us living with this, and it forces us to, when done with consciousness, to live with this energy of appreciation. It's like we want to appreciate everything. It's hard to appreciate the things that don't go so well, but we want to appreciate those too. Andy, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I remember hearing something that the Kabbalists would often eat so they could bless before and after. Like for them, it was all about the blessing.
Right. There's this thing like the blessing after you eat, there are options based on what you eat as to what the after blessing is. Just like the blessing before is different depending on what you're eating. If you're eating fruit of a tree, it's borei pri ha'etz. If you're eating fruit from the ground, it's
Right,
fruit from the ground. Like if it's grain, it may be mezonot. If it's enough grain, it may be hamotzi. And then there's a catch-all bracha, shakol. So there's specific blessings based on what it is you're eating.
Wait, by the way, to Andy's comment, I don't remember the Kabbalist. What the Rob would tell the story that this one Kabbalist would say to his students, "You eat to pray, I pray to eat." Got it?
No, he prays to eat. Yes, right.
Yeah.
No, he eats to pray. He's eating so he could pray. He
So I said it
wants
backwards?
the praying is what the Kabbalist wants to do.
I think the more elevated, just think about this for a second, the more elevated, I don't need to eat. I'm only eating so I can continue to do my prayer. But really what he's saying, I'm only eating so I can continue to do my soul's work.
Right.
Like I'm not eating because I like the way, eggplant parmesan tastes. I'm not eating for that, for just the pleasure of the food. I'm having greater pleasure in doing my soul's work. I think that's part of that's an amazing consciousness to have. Maybe we should do both. But again, it's about where is my consciousness. And so again, from here we get this benefit of appreciating the blessings that we have in our lives. And let's face it, we're living in North America, pretty much all of us on this call right now. But we do have friends who join us from Europe, and there probably will be someone listening to this recording from Europe. I mean, but we live in like lands where food is plentiful, but not everywhere in the world is it like that. I mean, it is something that we do take for granted. And for sure, our ancestors did not have it. It is easy. For sure. Arguably, with the mass production of food these days, we may have less nourishment than prior generations had also. And that's an offline conversation with Dr. Alex. Okay, let's continue with verse 55. Deha kashin mizona de banash kame kuchabrichu kik riat yam tsuf. My tama begin di mizona de alma di le'elahu dit nan b'nei chaye umazone v'gomer. Begin kach kashan kame mizone de alma. Da b'mazala talia milta. Dimine nav ke mezone, the chaye uvane, uvegin kach kashin kame mezone de alma, de halav, b'shutei kaima ad dit barech ihu. Alex, you're on mute.
For providing man's food is a heavy task for the Holy One, blessed be he, as the cleaving of the sea of reeds, the Red Sea.
Wait a second. It's so hard for the Creator. The Creator can do anything. What does it mean it's so hard? For the Creator, it's such a heavy task. Is there like a hierarchy of tasks for the Creator? Like some things are easier than others? What are we talking? What's going on? So again, it feels anthropomorphic, meaning
That's twice in the last 2 days.
what's that?
That's twice in the last 2 days.
It feels anthropomorphic in that.
Don't we have a list going? Wait a second. Peter, I thought you were going to create a list.
Good point.
It's like these human ideas and feelings and emotions and things being projected on a supernal, task. And we have two here. We have man's food and the splitting of the Red Sea.
Hey, David, I would posit when we read on, we can see. I think part of it's not a heavy task, it's an ongoing task.
Okay.
Right. There's some tasks that are going to be a little more finite, and this is a pretty continuous one.
And I like that so much because we look at it like it just happens. Like, again, I think like with all anthropomorphisms, it's to give us an appreciation. By the way, anyone recall, these are both heavy tasks, but there's a task that's even heavier than splitting the Red Sea. Anyone recall what that is?
Go ahead, Andy.
Soulmates.
Right.
Good one, Andy.
Soulmates.
And I actually learned that it wasn't even soulmates in the first go around. Like that's the easy part. The hard part is the second go around.
Well, whether it's first or second, the reunification of two halves of the soul, soulmates, is the most difficult task. Again, is anything difficult for the Creator? It's not a matter of being difficult for the Creator. It's a matter of all the things that we put in the way. Like we have to do the work. That's what's so difficult. We have to do the work to merit soulmates, to merit crossing the Red Sea, to merit food. We control your consciousness, determines your reality. It's not just about the food. The world is a world of abundance, but we have a consciousness of scarcity. When we approach life through the lens of scarcity, we are limiting the world. This isn't about food and blessings and splitting the sea and soulmates. At some level, it's about where is your consciousness? It's all about the conscious. Do I see a conscious of limitations, of scarcity? Or through my consciousness, do I understand that there's unlimited abundance in the world of food and of soulmate opportunities? That's what this is about. That is the huge takeaway here. It's like all these rules and tools, they're important, but ultimately the most important thing is like, What consciousness am I applying to this? And these consciousness, by forcing me to anchor my consciousness before blessing and before food, after food, it's giving me the opportunity to grow in my appreciation for the world around me and the limitless blessings that are there. Why? Because when my soul comes down here under those specific astrological signs, I'm coming here and I'm seeing a world of limitations all around me. And if I stay with that body consciousness, with that physical consciousness, which is normal, it's our nature. Of course it is normal. But if I stay with that, I'm not going to be getting a different outcome in life. I have limited mindsets. And so the opportunity here and the huge opportunity from this whole section, ultimately, is opening up my consciousness to see beyond scarcity and to see a world of abundance and unlimited opportunity. Okay, did we finish? Let's finish that English there.
Why? Because all the nourishment of the world come from above. We have learned that children, longevity, and nourishment depend not upon merit, but upon Mazal. Therefore, daily sustenance is a heavy task for him, for it depends upon Mazal, from whence children, longevity, and sustenance are derived. Daily sustenance is hard for him because one does not have them before being blessed by Mazal.
Okay, so again, that's the signs that the signs we're born under are providing us with challenges. When we can overcome those challenges, we are doing our soul correction and we are aligning ourselves with the purpose of our soul and aligning ourselves with the merit, as stated here, of children, longevity, and sustenance. Okay, we're out of time. Thanks for reading, Alex.
Thank
you
you.
guys. Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat
everybody.
Thank you,
shalom.
guys.
You
Bye-bye.
guys.
You too.